Hello and welcome to the March 19th, 2010 video version of Invested Central's Chart of the Day. I'm Tom Boley, Invested Central's Chief Market Strategist, and it's my pleasure to provide you with today's Chart of the Day. This Chart of the Day is brought to you by StockCharts.com, simply the web's best financial charts. Today we are featuring a very well-known company, Ford Motor, ticker symbol F. This is about a $46 billion auto manufacturer. And when you take a look at the stock technically, first let me just say this has been a tremendously bullish pattern that the stock's been in for a while. You can see that it has not even tested its 50-day moving average since back at the end of, since it broke above it and came back and tested it right at the beginning of November of 2009. So it's been several months now trading above its 50-day moving average. There aren't too many stocks out there that can say the same. So technically this has been a very, very strong performer, and I'm really not trying to indicate that this is a particularly bad looking chart for the long term. Rather, in the short term it looks like it could be subject to a little bit of weakness, and I'll explain why. As we've been moving up here over the last few weeks, you'll see if we go down and take a look at the RSI and stochastics, RSI went up and touched 80, which is extremely high. We've been in the 90s mostly on stochastics for the last 4 weeks, 3-4 weeks. So we've got a combination of some very, very overbought conditions. You can see the MACD starting to get stretched, but still very strong, pointing straight up. So we kind of like that. But here's the problem. This is a dark cloud cover candle. Anytime you have an open that is above the prior day's high or above the prior day's close, and then you have a close which is more than halfway down the previous day's candle body, this is what's referred to as a dark cloud cover candle. After an uptrend, these can be particularly bearish, and with extreme volume they can be very bearish. And you can see that we do have the dark cloud cover candle in play. Volume was massive. This is the heaviest volume we've seen during this entire uptrend. So this reversal really does need to be taken seriously, at least in the near term. Now with the MACD pointing straight up, I do think that any weakness will probably be limited to the 20-day moving average, but at some point we will likely go back and test this 50-day moving average. And if you take a look at the breakout that we had at the beginning of March right here, we took out about 1220, 1215 or so. That was the prior high in January, and we haven't gone back to retest that. So I think the 20-day moving average seems like a legitimate short-term target for any short position. So maybe think about the $12.75 to $13 area. But if we do break below that area, then keep in mind that this price support area, long-term price support area, at about 12.15 or so is likely to come into play, and that could coincide with a 50-day test as we see this 50-day continue to rise. So again, I want to emphasize this is a short-term, very short-term type of trade on the short side. We still are very big fans of Ford technically on the chart. We just believe in the very near term that it could struggle based on what we see here. Now if you do decide you want to take a position on the short side, today's or Thursday's high at $14.54 is what you really need to keep an eye on, because if you break above that, then you're going to want to be careful. Maybe think about covering a position. To the downside, your initial target would be this 1277 area, the rising 20-day exponential moving average. And again, if we break below that and the volume stays strong, then I think it opens the door potentially to the 50-day moving average and price support, which is down just about that $12.15 level. I hope you've enjoyed our presentation today. Be sure to check out our chart of the day every day at InvestedCentral.com. While you're there, sign up for our free weekly Market Pulse newsletter and have the chart of the day emailed directly to you. Happy trading.